Little boy, you should be in your father's arms tonight. Little boy, today the darkness stole your light. And oh, little boy, this never should have happened to a boy. A little boy, I'm sure you're glad it's over, but our hearts are broken without you here. And I heard your mama crying, and I heard the wings of 20 angels flying. There ain't nothing that I can say. Little girl, your presents wrapped, they're waiting for you. Little girl, this house so still, so sad without you. Little girl, this never should have happened to a girl. A little girl, you need to know we're sorry, and our hearts are broken without you here. Today a nation's crying, and I heard the wings of 20 angels flying. Are there any words to say? Would you give new life and then steal it back? Is this all part of the plan? Is this your sovereignty? Were they really called home? No, it can't be that simple. We've wrestled with you, now we crawl away crippled. And I heard our Father crying, and I heard the wings of 20 angels flying. Oh.
barefoot. Is that still the case? Is he barefoot? Because I know on Facebook somebody posted a picture of these could be his shoes, or is that so he is presumed to be barefoot at this point?
What I can say is that his mom says all of his shoes are accounted for at the house. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot.
All right.
Allegedly!
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. Here's a brief disclaimer for tonight's show. Let's watch.
That's ignorant! Allegedly, that's ignorant! Ignorant.
Judgment, Austin.
Oi, you read my thoughts. You've got the shinin.
You mean shining?
Shh, you wanna get sued?
Judgment, Austin.
You just use that shin of yours to call me and I'll come a running. But don't be reading my mind between 4 and 5. That's Willie's time.
Hey, yo, boss. I love it when he does that.
Let's watch.
Don't get me back to good bullshit.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. And it's so good to see all of you tonight. Thank you all so much for being here. I am a little unprepared, which I'm not really used to, but I wanted to just come up and kind of shoot the shit with you guys tonight, instead of, kind of presenting information like we usually do. So just kind of an off night because I have some things that I'm working on, but I haven't quite gotten to finish them yet. So Kelly Holcomb, so good to see you. Thank you so much for being in here, number one. And I put my live up a little bit late again tonight, just because I was working on some things. Joe, are we winning? What are we winning at, Joe? I'm afraid to ask sometimes because that winning, I don't know what that means. Kelly, Chuchi, good to see you. Sorry. I'm laughing over here. I got Kelly, Joe, Chuchi. Good to see you guys. Also, please make sure that you guys are all over the age of 21 at least, because we're going to be talking about subjects here that are, a little sensitive in nature, and that's just part of true crime. And please don't forget to hit that like button. Hey witchy mama, good to see you. Hey Cece. I know, Cece, the song is so sad. I was saying yesterday that when I picked it out, I knew it was the perfect song, but it also was very um sad, and when I listened to it, I was bawling my eyes out, and I took a break afterwards because I was so overcome with emotion. But I hope that you guys do kind of get that feeling a little bit, because gosh, when we look at all of those people, some very, very young little people, and it's just so sad. Um, but I think it's worth remembering their stories. Um, I was over listening to another live, probably someone that people wouldn't really, know if I mentioned them. But either way, they were talking about how sometimes we talk about subjects that are, you know, maybe cause a lot of emotion, right? But in the same way, not everybody takes what's being said and is perceiving it the same way. So what story might be very disturbing to one person might help another person, like in terms of a domestic violence situation, right? Like you might be in a very bad situation and you hear somebody else's story, and someone else comes in and they hear that story and they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's the worst story in the world," but it's actually helping that person who is actually going through the domestic violence situation and understanding that, those are the things that they're dealing with. And so whenever that happens, I think that it's important, because even though you might not agree with the conversation or particularly like what is being spoken about, the topic, so to speak, that doesn't mean that other people aren't getting value out of it. Just because one person isn't getting any value or doesn't see the value in it, doesn't mean that other people aren't, and in a domestic violence situation, they would be getting their whole life back. Hey, Gail. Gail, good to see you. Thank you so much. We are Sebastian's army and Devlin's army. Thank you guys so much always for the green and blue hearts, and all the colors. Um, we're gonna again, guys. I'm doing a little bit of deep diving on a little boy who has been missing for quite a while now. Um, and he's, I want to say, how old is Jasper? I'd have to look on my see, and this is why I really want to go and deep dive so I know everything before I get up here and speak about him. But he's just as cute as he can be. I'll just go ahead and pull up his flyer after we do the intros. Hey Kelly, good to see you. So nice to see you. And Scarlet Begonias is here. Happy Thursday. And thank you, Cece. Thank you so very much. And hey Holly S, good to see you. I do want to do like a fun giveaway. So we did a couple of giveaways. I did the Pig Fest giveaway, but that was kind of something that I had planned out. Um, but I want to hear your guys' feedback because like we also did a giveaway when it was the murder mystery. We did murder mystery night on a members only. I want to do a members only as well. Um and I want to do like a trivia. And so that way um it'll help out with the Pig Fest trip if people buy memberships, but then also you guys will get something fun out of it, right? So I think that's how we'll do some of the fundraising, because that will go on this month's pay, and then that would go towards the trip in February. So we're looking at doing something like that, but I don't know what topics you guys would be most interested in doing a trivia. um I just don't know. And also when it comes to the prize for the trivia, we did a book, like an ebook. I did Crystal's ebook, which if you guys would like to do that as a prize, we can do that absolutely, and it would help towards Jana's cause. I also have a link that I wanted to share with you guys from Facebook that I forgot to share last night, so I can't forget to do it tonight. Um, but it's a link for a t-shirt. If you want to buy a t-shirt from Jana, she's having a remembrance for Crystal, and they're going to have a get together. And, there's an RSVP and everything. It looks really, really awesome. And she also is selling t-shirts. So I wanted to get that link out because I want to get me a t-shirt, of course. And I'll wear it on the show. Hey, Sammy, good to see you. Hey, Kylie's Nail Candy. Hey, Nancy, good to have you here. Um, Joe, what's this look? Oh my gosh. Joe, you're making me nervous. What's going on? What's up? What's up, Joe? Um, uh-oh. Hello, Jen. Good to see you. Hey, I stopped over earlier and I'm sorry I was multitasking, but I was also listening. You had a really interesting topic. Hey, Scranton Strangler, good to see ya. Hey, Catherine. Welcome in, everyone. Hey, Bo, good to see ya. Thank you for hitting the like button. You guys are amazing. That really helps so much with the algorithm. Um, Oh, thank you, Scarlet Begonias. Let's see. So, music trivia. I think that would be a fantastic subject. I love music. If you do music, let's do 70s trivia, CC. Okay. Oh my goodness. So that would add in a little bit of disco age stuff too. That would be fun. Okay, so you guys want to do like a music? I didn't peg this group for being the ones that wanted to do like a gory true crime. How many people did Ted Bundy? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so no. That would be fun. I just didn't know what kind of like I don't know, but still give us feedback, but that is a good one. I just think it would be something fun that we could do. And then I didn't know what type of if you guys like to do ebooks, or I think sometimes we could do an audiobook. It's just easy that way I could like send it to you in your email and you get it like boom right away. So, oh, the office trivia, oh, CC all day. Oh my gosh, that one would be so hilarious. So we could do a couple of different topics as well if you guys wanted to do like I don't know, kind of like how Jeopardy does it, where you have the subjects. You could pick music, you could pick uh, The Office. I'm not. I mean, it'll be my first time doing it, so it'll be a little bit, stumble and bumble, but Scranton says she's like, I got the office trivia. That's hilarious. Just saying, that's too funny, Scranton. Scranton, you are the Scranton Strangler, so oh my goodness. Breaking Bad trivia. You know what? I want to say I watched like the first 4 seasons of it, and I didn't see. I don't know. It started getting kind of a little bit too much, but um, we could do like popular shows as a category. That would be fun. Scranton. Cece says Scranton, of course. That's funny. But wasn't Cece the name of Pam and Jim's first daughter? So I don't know Scranton. We got a couple of office references just right here. um but no, that would be really fun. Question, who is the greatest performer of all time? See, that is open to interpretation, Joe. It really is. I mean, like, I don't know. It was funny. Chuchi and I were asking Alexa funny random questions earlier, and it was cracking me up because I've always been so scared of Alexa, like listening in randomly, and so when she was doing it, it was making me laugh. But we were asking her random questions, and she was getting sassy frass with us, which was even more hilarious. I was like, I love annoying AI. It's so funny. We need a Swifty category, T Swift category. T Swift. Oh, gotcha, Joe. I looked at the screen. Good thing that your comment was still because that one would just went over my head a little bit there. Oh, Tay Tay. Oh, Lord. That's a tough one. Bo. Yes, Miss Ann, we can see you. I see you. I see you. Hello, Ann. How are you today? 70s show. Ooh, I love the 70s show. Oh my gosh, that would be fun trivia. Um, yeah, so we can just come up with questions and stuff, and it could be fun. Well, we could do like five, or 10 or 10 5 categories, 10 questions each or something like that. That would be really fun. Um, yeah, okay. Yeah, I was just making sure. Poor Alexa. Chuchi, we were annoying the shit out of her. It was so funny though. I was like, haha, we stumped AI. You know? Oh, Meow. Good to see you, Meow. Thank you so much for hitting the like button. Oh my goodness. Welcome in, guys. Hey, Juicy Jules. I know. Yeah, let's pick it. I just figured we would do just something fun, on that. And it would just be something that it would be like a break from true crime a little bit because I know, oh gosh, it's just been crazy, but I'll busy. I mean, I've just been busy kind of deep diving into certain subjects. So, that's time consuming, but you know how fun it is to go down some of these rabbit holes sometimes. You find one piece of information, then you go down, oh, look at this. Oh, looky here, and so it is fun and interesting, but sometimes it just fries my brain and I'm processing a lot of information. So, um yeah, like a Jeopardy 1cc? Cool. Okay, good. Yeah, that's awesome then. We'll plan to do that, at the end of the month. I also wanted to do the memberships. I forgot to do gift memberships. You guys need to stay on my butt about that one. You guys gotta be like, "Hey, Lady Freedom, quit holding out on those freebies that you got, because I forgot to give you guys the free memberships, that we are allotted to give, but I have to go in there and actually whip them out, on the computer. Like, you can only do it for the longest time, I didn't know how to do it, and it was kind of funny because I was like, "Let's do a members, and I'll give the memberships," and it was not, oh, there we go. It was not the way it should have been, and we did not get to gift memberships, and it was kind of funny. But also it wasn't because people were let down. So I was like, "Oh, boy." Um But I would love to do okay, oh, look at this. Alright, so there's also a poll. Okay, this is see, I didn't even know how to do this. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong button and it brought me somewhere and I'm like, "Hey, look." Alright, here we go. Okay, so I can send 5, so I'm sending 5, sending 5. Oh, there we go. It's a free for all. That's so much fun. Okay, there we go. Alright, is that all we get? Okay, it didn't accumulate. Okay, cool. Nicely done. All right. Well, that's it. And you know what? I think I forgot to give them out for December, and I was going to do it on Christmas, and I totally forgot. That's a real Grinch move of me, on my part. So good. Well, yay. I wanted you guys to be in here for that, and there we go. And I almost totally forgot about doing it. I'm glad we kind of took this live just to kind of chit chat. The best series ever. Yes. Well, and there's also a new Stranger Things out. Have you guys watched that? Because I really want to see it and I haven't had a chance. Um, Snarky Alexa. Hey, happy holidays. I know, right? She was being sassy with us, and I'm like, hello. I'm like, we're just asking legit questions, but we were being silly with her too, though. So that it was pretty freaking hilarious. Um, I've heard others talk about her. Yes, and I don't know, the different voices are funny too, and, Chuchi was telling me you can change her name to whatever you want, so we were laughing about that too, so a few years ago, I could trivia game of yeah, yeah, Game of Thrones would be really fun, yeah, well, and there's so much, like, there's, like, ones that you could make kinda tough in that one as well. Now, I haven't caught up on, like, the dragon series, the one that, the House of Dragons. I'm not, as good with that one, but I used to watch the Game of Thrones, and, every time a new one would come out, be like waiting, Um, but oh, you don't feel you have low sugar? Oh shit. Well, here comes my Google Voice thing going off. Oh boy, see that's what creeps me out about Alexa, but I do want to get one now because it's too funny to mess with her. Um, Hey, Babs. Babs says, "Hey, hon, good to be back. Oh, you've had the flu? Oh, gosh. I know everybody's been sick. Oh, I'm glad you're back, Babs. My goodness." Go find his Pam. Aw, that's cute. I think, finding a Jim or a Pam is not as easy as it seems to be, because they just have that connection. Yeah, like when you said that, Cece, all I could think about is when they were at the oh gosh, Niagara Falls, and she just takes a picture like with her, like as if she's taking a picture with her fingers, and it was so cute. Like, they're just adorable. I'm like, "Quit giving us false hope." No, I'm just kidding. Kelly, hey, Funtuski, good to see you. Keep snacking. Yeah, we need snacks. We need snacks, Stat. Miss Ann, get some snacks. Linda Hall, it's good to see you. Oh, there you go, protein. Yes. And what is it? Like wheat is a good one, isn't it? Instead of like white bread, wheat bread. I don't know. It's been so long. A lot of people on my dad's side have diabetes, so couponing, good to see you. Hey, Super Sleuth. Yeah, it should be fun, guys. I think it'll be fun. You guys will enjoy it. It'll be just something like kind of offbeat. Um, I've been trying to binge watch Stranger Things. I'm not doing too good. I know, and I heard it was going to be really good. I suppose it's the final installment. So, um, but all of them have been good so far. It kind of like they hit the nostalgia, and it's just I also like, sci-fi kind of thing, so I think um it should be enjoyable. But I got rid of like my Netflix and my Hulu because I had both of them. Because I wasn't watching them either a lot, and also I wanted to save, to go to Tennessee, and so I was like, well, I'll just wait. But like Stranger Things would be a good reason to, buy it again. Also on Hulu, I watched this show called The Bear, and I really, really like that show. I'd highly recommend it. It's a very, very good show. That was good. I watched the Stranger Things and people thought that I was going to drop yesterday. Oh my goodness. Oh, really, Funtuski? Oh my gosh, I can't wait. You want to do the Golden Girls trivia? Oh my goodness. That would be too funny. That would be great, actually. That is a good idea. All right, so I'll have to go back and chat and reference all of our ideas. So, because that sounds like fun. I think it'd be good. Oh, okay. There was a tribute show last night. Oh, I must have missed that. Oh, we're glad to have you here, Linda. Thank you. Hey, Sasha. Good to see ya. There you go. Peanut butter crackers. Yeah. I like just taking Ritz crackers and putting peanut butter on them. Hey, Miss Fairy. Hey girl, hey, I didn't see I must have missed you when you came in. Sorry guys, I'm just scrolling through. Yeah, the crackers have carbs. Yeah, see carbs are I was trying to think of like what's the good ratio, but I don't want to quote it because I'm a, you know, poor Miss Ann. I need if I misquote it, it won't be good. But no, that's true. Ham, tuna is good. You know, the omegas are good, the fatty acids and stuff. Oh, okay. The ending was good. See, that's what's always I mean, especially when there's like, a series finale or whatnot, or, the final installment of something like that. Um, I really liked that show Lost until they did the ending of it. I was like, "What?" You know? Of course, everybody was, like they said, lost at that point. Um, this was my first 3 nights at work in my last week at this job, bittersweet, but on to better things, I hope. Yay! Good luck, Scranton. That is so cool. Good for you. I love hearing that. Yeah, it's always nice to kind of, move on, but it can be, especially if you've met nice people or you're gonna miss certain coworkers. Um, sometimes we just get close to our coworkers because we work with them, all week, 40 hours a week. Oh, 13 Reasons Why was really good, Sasha. That was a really, really good one. Yeah, I had a conversation with my daughter about that actually. That was it opened up a conversation, the books and stuff. Well, because my daughter's a reader like me, and so, but we do like to watch the. What we do is we read the books and then we critique the movies really hard, and we're like, oh, that sucked, So that's that's what we usually do. I mean, it's been a while though since we've read the same book. Um, she still wants me to read the. I think it's the second Hunger Games prequel that I need to read. Well, actually, no, I haven't read the first prequel. What am I talking about? But she says they're good. Yeah, Niagara Falls, right, Cece? Aw, it's so cute. Yeah, Joe, I was like a fan of Glee, but I wasn't like a fangirl of Glee. Like I was like I like Glee, but I'm not like, all in. You know what I mean? Oh, hey, Jilly. Hey, Mom Marissa. Oh my goodness, I didn't even see you guys. See, I scrolled right past, didn't I? Aw. Oh, I bet you it was when I was giving out the memberships. Okay. And see, I still don't know who is a member because of those memberships. I've been looking. But welcome to the Dragon Tribe. Oh, cool. Made peanut butter and butterscotch cookies last night. Ooh, that sounds good. Yum. I'm not a duck, but I was married to a type 1 for 13 years. Yeah, when he cuts the carbs, totally changed his life. Protein and vegetables. Potatoes are the worst. I try to tell people this. Potatoes are the worst. And well, for people who are diabetic, pre-diabetic, have family members that are diabetic, PCOS, is something that I have. And I think that's because of like my dad's side, because that's also a diet that you have to watch like everything. Um, but I don't. So that's not good. But no, potatoes are the worst enemy. Like I like potatoes, but I have to be really I can't be doing that. I can't be fucking with potatoes. Tomatoes I can fuck with, potatoes no, Babs. Sorry guys, night court. Dropping the F bomb. Aw, thank you, Chuchi. Blanche was hot. What the hell? Joe, I saw a comment that you made the other night. Joe, all right, Joe, since we're just shooting the shit tonight. Joe, I saw a comment that you made the other night and you were talking about Chris Proudfoot is sexy as hell. I think I can't even say it without laughing. Um, what was that about? What's up with that? Um, just wondering. Because I'm pretty sure that after my live stream, I got like a screenshot. I got a screenshot of it, and I'm like, what is this? And who? And I never knew. I never knew that there was a secret crush on Mr. Proudfoot. And, I think we should talk about it. Aw, that's right. Thank you, Linda. Linda says, Scranton, good luck and or great things will come your way. Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, it's tough whenever you're leaving a job though, because I do, um, like I've always liked my coworkers. I've never had like a big uproar with a coworker. I don't that I can think of. I mean, sure, there might be people that I liked better than others, but it was never, you just come in and say good morning to everybody at the office or whatever. I know, I'm trying to get everyone to meow. Ah, that's nice. Yeah, diabetes is serious. Like you have to really be careful with it, right? I think sweet potatoes are starch. Yeah, I was gonna say they're basically yeah. It's like they secrete saccharin, I believe it is, and you guys can please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the bad thing about, any potatoes because they still break down the same way as a regular potato. But sweet potatoes are good, and usually, like, if I do get if they have the option to get sweet potato french fries, I like to do that because 'cause they're good. Oh, that's so great. Oh, wow, Scranton, hells yeah, girl, you get it. Yeah, and that's closer to your home, and also a $10 raise is significant, girl. You get it. Hells yeah. Oh, good. Oh, I'm so happy for you, Scranton. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, they are better and they're healthy too. They're healthy. They're a healthier option, I think. Oh, good, Kelly. Yeah. You know, I know that like that Ozempic stuff is really helpful. I've heard good things about it, but then I also know people take it just so they can like, become Skeletor, you know? So Scranton. Scranton. Oh my gosh. Wait, Joe said CP was sexy as hell. Joe needs an eye doctor stat. Oh no. We need to help Joe. No, I had to know what he was thinking about that one because it cracked me up. I was laughing so hard. And then when he said about Blanche being hot, I was like, uh-oh. Yes, my mom called them pheasant cookies, because we took them pheasant hunting and they taste better cold. Oh, that's cute. Oh, and you put cornflakes in there? Oh my gosh, that sounds like such a good idea. Hmm. Yeah. It would give them like it kind of reminds me of like the no bake using the oats and stuff. Those are good cookies to make a little bit healthier option, I would think. Maybe not like the cocoa stuff or whatever you use, but yeah. Yeah, it's tough. You know what it is? The remembering to do like the meal prep is tough, I think Babs, that's like the hardest part for me. It's like because you do have to really take the time out to portion stuff or at least like be mindful about that. But I mean I've tried to do at least that much. Linda says I'm not diabetic. It's the one thing I don't have. Yay. Right? Good good thing on that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, switching I think is good. Oh my gosh, Babs, I saw Kelly Osbourne and that's what made me think of it. I was like, "Oh Lord," you know? I just think there's like, a healthy version of oneself and then there's like a really unhealthy and it seems I don't know what it is about that Ozempic, but I've heard that Ozempic face and yeah, and like just references to how it just makes somebody like I don't know, it just like makes you thin. I don't know how that's helping a diabetic though. Like I get it that like, having the extra weight is not good on someone who has diabetes, but also I'm like, but does Skeletor syndrome make it better? Because I mean those girls do not look healthy to me, like in the slightest. Oh, well, that's all right though, as long as as long as you're doing good though. That's a good thing. It's definitely a good thing. And I think I'm a big believer in people, um, knowing their own body and like how it affects, their own self too. So, as long as you're feeling good. Oh, fen, yeah. Oh, that's right. Oh, that's true, Babs. Well, see, here in Florida, they have like a thing where you can go get, your extra skin taken off. Like they constantly advertise. It's called like, oh, it's called Sonabella or something, whatever. But it's just like it's like lipo, and they take the extra skin like right off the bat. Um, but they're always talking about it here. Oh, okay, Miss Anne. Yeah, I've known about the metformin too. That's another one I've heard of. Mediterranean diet, Chuchi, is I think the best. I think it really is, like the most healthy diet. And actually there is an island that only does Mediterranean, and most of the people there live like over 100 years old. Um, oh yeah, salad. Yeah. Oh, salads are great, witchy. They are. Yeah, and even like a oil vinegar dressing is good, so because the dressing is really what gets it. And I can't eat salad without salad dressing. It's got to have some kind of something. You know. Aw, Babs. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Wegovy. I've heard of that one too. Yeah. I mean, I don't know though, because it seems like people who are already like at a healthy weight, if they take Ozempic, it turns them into Skeletor. It really does. It's like they're so gaunt and thin and sunken in. Like I don't know. It's strange. Yeah, yeah, peanut butter fudge, yeah. Oh my gosh, that sounds so good though. Like, I'm not huge on sweets, but every now and then, but those sound good because, like, I like the oatmeal stuff. The Ozempic, yeah, I didn't agree with you. Oh yeah, the meds adjusted, that's a good idea too. Yeah, oh gosh. Oh my gosh, Babs, really? Jeez. I know, and then you can never reverse back. Like, that's the thing about the people that get the lip injections too, with it's like too much there. Joe. Well, I just think she was cute when she had a chubby face. Like, I don't know. I just thought she was so cute. I don't know. And then I think they're just it's just so heavy. Oh, well, good, Miss Anne. Manjaro is good. Then Manjaro's good. And that's great. I love hummus. Oh my gosh, hummus is my jam, Chi. It is. Yeah, she's looking gaunt, and then I was worried. Well, I was thinking maybe because of her father passing, because I know that's so hard, like to lose a parent. So, but turns out that it's not because of that. Well, as far as I know, I should say, allegedly, of course. I don't know. I don't know how they get it, Babs, but I know that it was causing like a shortage for people who needed it. Is what I heard, and I was like, oh, that's so horrible. Um, Indigo says, I'm just fat and tired. Well, and I think just getting a little bit of exercise is good, but when it's so cold and stuff, it's hard to get out in the freezing cold and do that. So, yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, and I think that, like I said, the Mediterranean diet is very, very good. Oh, well, she's not a freak, Joe. I love Kelly Osbourne. I really love the Osbournes. They're great. I was just, that's the first thing that came to my mind because it's been kind of a talk of around the streets or whatever. So, CP is a hometown stud. Whoa, 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 whoa! That is out of control. Damn. All right, Joe. Now we're figuring out how. I'm glad I'm paying attention and I didn't miss that. I'm glad I'm glad I didn't get that screenshot of me later and I can actually give you a good laugh right there. Hummus is the best, isn't it, Sasha? I like to make like pita chips, in the oven. Just like cut the pita bread up and put it in the oven, like with some olive oil. It's so good. Um, so yeah, guys. So last night we were talking about Devlin Tate, and I told you guys that I found some court records in probate court, and we were kind of going over some of an expert opinion, or well, it was an expert opinion, an expert witness in court for Nicholas Godejohn, but it kind of really translated well over into Devlin's case because he was also in trouble and there was some violent reasons that he was in trouble, right? Um, at the time of his disappearance, he was due in court the very next day, and then he had another court date that he also missed because he went missing. Um, and so he had a lot of things in the works, and I was wondering if maybe that could have had something to do with it. Maybe he's hiding out somewhere, right? So working through these theories with Devlin is very difficult because he has a lot of people who had access to him. Excuse me, is one thing that I'm finding and working out. Um, but another thing is that he was having in my opinion, due to his autism, he was having some issues, and I'm just going to cover this up because he's been missing for 9 months. Um, oh, there we go. Sorry. Or excuse me, we're going on 9 months. So at this point, it's still 8 months, going on 9 months, the 21st of this month. Hopefully, we can find him before then. But I'm not going to rule anything out yet, right? And then also, guys, I got into Devlin's case at the 5 month mark. So this was the first thumbnail that I made for Devlin. Um, that's why it says the 5 months. Um, but I got into it late in the game. And then also, I, spent some time researching within the last kind of 3.5 months or so here. Talking to a lot of people and then also watching when other people were talking to other people, and we went over that, and I'm working on a video of Sabrina's interview with Piper. So that's kind of something I have in the works with that. Sabrina was the last one with Devlin that morning. And also the one that called him in. So I think she's an important piece to the puzzle. Even if she didn't have any involvement or anything to do with Devlin's disappearance, she's his family member. She has had custody of him at a certain point, and there were talks of guardianship again with Devlin, but we also have to remember that Devlin was getting in trouble. And something that was very interesting, and again, if you want to watch that video, I put it up where there's no commentary from me except for like, when I put a meme in there or write something on the screen. But otherwise, you can just listen to the expert speak. I'm not stopping and pausing through it. So I think it's a valuable thing to watch, especially if you have questions about what autism spectrum disorder is. Um, but one thing that I really thought was interesting about the expert's opinion was he was saying that when children get out of high school and they have special needs like the one that, Devlin has. So he has a rare chromosome deletion syndrome, but also with autism. So autistic children or individuals, especially, they have not everybody's the same. Again, it's a spectrum, but many times they're used to that structure, and once it's taken away, that sometimes there's a bit of a decline that happens, or they fall out of that routine, and it's more healthy for them to have that routine and the structure than it is for them to not have it. And so with Devlin, that really rang true to me, because it does appear that when Devlin dropped out of high school, he started experiencing, a shift in his routine would be, very obvious. But then the structure was taken out of the mix as well. And then again, when he turned 18, the structure was again taken out of the mix. Um, and then he also lost support payments that people were getting, you know. Scranton. Oh no. No, I think Joe is just trying to be noticed by CP. No, I'm just kidding. Um, but either way, it just really made me think about, again, putting myself in Devlin's shoes. Could this have all gotten to be so overwhelming to him, that he decided to take off? Because, clearly Devlin went for guardianship of himself, for himself, and he was also pushing that with the guardian ad litem to the judge, right? I can take, according to Sabrina, hey, I could take care of myself. I got a job. I'm holding down a job. I'm doing A, B, and C. I'm functioning just fine. But then something happened, again. And it could have just been that, he was telling the judge what he wanted to hear, right? That could be one thing. But then again, the judge did allow for that. And so Devlin was then, kind of put out there like, okay, now you're on your own. Like, not totally, because he was living with Tammy, but it was also, for him, if I'm thinking of it from his perspective, which we're trying to find him, so I kind of try to keep myself there. Um, could he have just said, I'm gonna leave, and go somewhere, or could something else have happened to him, right? But he was still very vulnerable, because there was a lot of back and forth, right, in the family, going back and forth just over everything. Um, could that have caused him to be more vulnerable, and maybe trust somebody that he wasn't supposed to? And again, I'm not blaming his family for that completely. I mean, everybody makes their own choices. And after all, the judge did deem him responsible for himself. But again, I also have to just remember that Devlin's autism would, um, be challenging, and it would cause issues that, someone who wasn't on the spectrum wouldn't necessarily have, right? It's always tough for us to go out on our own. Even if we're 18 and we think we know everything, it's just always tough. But um, again, he was so used to relying on other people and calling Sandra, and calling, and talking with her every day, and talking with Jessica, and those things. He was just in a routine of doing things. I just don't see him. I see it. I also see it very hard that Devlin would be hiding out in, say, like a house somewhere, right? Because Devlin's so used to going out and being out and around, that I don't see him being able to stay put very easily, which would make it harder for him to, be incognito, so to speak. I think he could have fallen into the wrong crowd too, Funtuski. Yeah. Yeah, I really do. I think that he could have fallen into the wrong crowd, um, or just maybe the wrong people, where maybe they were like, "Hey, you can come live with us," because he was asking people to come live with him. If can I come live with you, right? Can I live here? Can I stay here? Um, and then people were telling him, "No, you can't because of you're on paper, right? You got probation, um, you have a misdemeanor, that sort of thing." So, oh, that sounds good, Miss Ann. I love peanut butter and apples. Didn't he lose his job because of not calling in? Yes, yes, that was one of the things that Sabrina had shared with us when she was on the panel. She said, one of the times he lost his job for not calling into work. And I do believe that was his McDonald's job. He was a no call, no show. So, and that's what's really difficult too. Um, like someone like Devlin, from what we heard, the guy at McDonald's. So when Piper went to McDonald's, she interviewed one of the managers there, and he told her that he had interviewed Devlin, but he thought that the environment was going to be too fast paced for him, so he didn't end up offering him the position. I'm not sure which position he interviewed for, like if it was for the line or if it was for, maintenance, or I mean, because he was a janitor, I believe, at the McDonald's in Hastings is what he did. Um, but again, in last night's live, in that video, the expert testified that when he spoke to Nick about, his job history, that he had worked at a pizza place and they had tried to put him in the kitchen and he dropped a pizza. And so then they just put him back to being a sign twirler right outside of the pizza place. He was just standing out there with a sign. And apparently he did that for 13 months. But I think, you know, it's a little bit sad because sometimes they give people on the spectrum a chance, and then the one time they make one simple mistake that any other person could make, they're out of a job. And that's what they did to Nick Godejohn anyway, allegedly. And I can see that being something that would happen. um again, I've worked places, and I mean, I've dropped stuff. Everybody drops stuff. It's a mistake. um so it just makes me wonder if, Devlin didn't get a fair shake, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Well, and he might be able to couch surf. That's true. Somebody knows what happened to Devlin, who um he be with people who would couch surf, or maybe would he have been with somebody? I was wondering that too, but I mean, I wonder what he would have to offer. Now, it's a farming community, so I mean, there's farms and stuff. I mean, maybe he's like doing under the table work for somebody and, staying on their property. I can see that being a possibility. Yeah, the interview with Lori is a little unnerving, Sasha. I couldn't tell if Lori was trying to talk about her. Well, I didn't know if Lori was trying to talk about Devlin to kind of help us understand more, which she did here and there, but she was also backtracking and kind of wishy-washy. But she was also kind of trying to just give out information about Tammy and about situations that weren't even really asked about. Um, she brought up the reward money. Like, there were certain things that, like, in my opinion, I wouldn't have talked about. I would have kept it like straight to Devlin, and that really wasn't what happened. And also, And everybody's mood shifts, right? I mean, you could be having a great day and then all of a sudden something bad could happen, or you could be having a horrible day and then something great could happen. So, um, but as far as I know, Devlin was having a decent day. He got a Easter basket from the church. He was able to eat there. He was able to have some fellowship. He visited with a friend. Allegedly, he went and visited with a girl at the park. And then later on, he ended up at Bob's. According to Lori, he stopped over at Bob's on Easter Sunday and was hanging out over there, and just hanging out with everybody at Bob's until about 6:30 p.m. And then he started making his way home. Um, so you know, it was odd though because Lori did talk about how Devlin wasn't in the best mood. So I don't know. I think maybe something did happen at the park where maybe Devlin thought he was going to meet a girlfriend, and maybe that girl was meeting him there and she just looked at him as a friend and it was disappointing. I don't know. Yeah, the parapro also, I have questions about that too. I have more, well, it just posed more questions, but usually, I mean, most of the time it really depends on the person, but a lot of times we won't have any questions, but sometimes it's like when we have too many questions, there's red flags, because like certain conversations we could kind of feel good about, and we might have some follow-up questions, but when we end up having like a laundry list of follow-up questions, yeah, that's when I'm like, uh-oh. Someone knows where he is. Yeah, I agree. Mhm. And what happened to him, and although he felt like he could take care of himself, being on his own probably broke him down trying to fit in somewhere. Yeah, and I just wish they would have given him more resources. Like, there was a time, back in 24, around the time, or shortly after he turned 18 and he was emancipated, he was working on getting some either low income or free housing. I don't know which one it was exactly. But I remember reading a text message where he sent his mom and told her, I'm working on doing that, and she's like, okay, that's what's up or whatever. But of course, it's more of like a friendship, right? Again, it's not like his mom was really trying to get him a place there. I mean, she wanted him to come live with her. And again, I've come to realize that that wouldn't have been the best choice. I think if Devlin would have gotten a place in Lake Odessa, a little efficiency apartment, someplace that he could call his own, and he got into the groove of going to a place where he could feel good about himself at work, I think that that would have worked out well for him. Or if he would have just been, able to get back onto the Social Security so he could take care of himself and maybe not have to worry about working all the time. I just think that doing those odd jobs in Devlin's situation could have been extremely dangerous to him. And it was proven that it was. I mean, he was getting bullied, he was getting sent to jobs that weren't really jobs, and things of that nature. Yeah, it's kinda hard to call in when you're not allowed to charge your phone, exactly, or when your phone gets shut off because somebody's pissed off because you called them a dumbass, you know? Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing, it's like it's upsetting, Witchy, because I just know that they could have helped Devlin, but they weren't thinking about him. They weren't thinking about what he needed. They were all thinking about what they wanted. Jessica mad at Ashley because Ashley didn't want her around Devlin. Well, no wonder. No wonder, right? And I'm not saying anybody's better than the next person here. I'm just saying, like, I'd be wondering the same thing. What does she want from him, right? And how come she can't, you know, be the mother, get AJ's things together, get a hotel room and come visit her son and see him and give him a hug, or I mean, most of us moms would drive a million miles just to sit across from our child at a table and have lunch. And especially when you're trying to build a relationship and trust. But that wasn't the kind of mother that Devlin had, right? It just is what it is. It's not to bash anyone, it's not to make anybody feel bad. It's just how the story went, right? And we can see that in the text messages. That's how I know this. So, it's aw, Joe, that's like the saddest emoji I've ever seen. I know. It seems like Devlin would make contact somehow by now. I mean, and I think so too. If he was allowed to, right? Say somebody did, abduct him and he was able to get to a phone, he knows everybody's phone numbers by heart, so he could call anybody. Oh, Babs. Oh no, Babs, that's terrible. That's right, Cece. Enjoy the quiet. No, I'm just kidding. Enjoy the quiet stuff, the quiet time alone. Get a cup of tea. No. Oh, they're having to evacuate. Little Miss Sharon is. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my. Hold on. All right, guys. Yeah, let's say prayers for little Miss Sharon. Oh my goodness. They're having to evacuate. See, I didn't check in the Discord for a couple of days and then yikes. Yeah, yeah. Give free hugs. Didn't someone say something about his phone or getting a new phone? Was it Lori or the Parapro? Well, Devlin had a couple of different phones and a couple of different phone numbers. And then sometimes he would break his phone. Um, One time he dropped it. Well, he talked about dropping it out of his pocket when he was on Fifth Ave. Let me pull this in. This is going to be courtesy of Bob's Barn Jams. And Bob, just because I don't know exactly where it's at, um, give me a second here. All right. And Devlin liked to hang over at Bob's all the time. And he apparently had a good friend in Bob, from what I hear. So here's Bob's Barn, and okay. Yeah, this is the one. All right. Just bear with me here, guys. I'm just going to share the screen. And guys, this video actually has a attention reward missing person, right? This was April 15th, 2025, so right before Devlin went missing. And do I have the okay.
Yesterday.
Oh, okay, hold on.
No, it has.
Sorry. Oh. Okay, sorry. I didn't think you talked for this long. Okay, hold on. Sorry, guys. I thought it was maybe 30 seconds, but I guess it was more like a minute. I apologize. I don't know why I'm buffering and buffering. All right. Oh, there we go. Okay. Nope, he's still talking. Devlin, how long do you talk in this clip? All right. Okay, here's the okay, see.
This is God's country. And this is where the part that when I was recording the one song that the dude was singing, it went black. That's what's been going on with my phone lately. So if it messes up, I'm sorry. There's times that I have to even restart my phone lately. It's been doing it ever since I dropped it on 5th Ave and broke the screen.
Okay, so it's been doing it ever since I dropped it over on 5th Ave and I broke the screen. So yeah, it's the weather. It's the weather, Sammy. It's the weather. They've been having really bad weather earlier and they were getting ready to evacuate, and I guess they have to. Very childish, Holly. I could not believe that she would rather vape than get the word out on every single channel. I was completely blown away by that. Especially because she told me like a million, times in a row that she just wanted to bring Devlin home and da 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 da. I think he was definitely abandoned. You know, and Devlin was handling himself better than they were. You know, but yeah, so that's our Devlin Tate right there, and that's his mannerisms, guys. This was a pretty good indication of kind of how he was, I mean, and then also with Devlin being on the spectrum, just the fact that he could get up there and, he was very outgoing, too. So that's not always typical, but he enjoyed the company of other people and he enjoyed singing too. So but yeah, let's just maybe go back just a scotch here and listen to that again.
And this is where the part that when I was recording the one song that the dude was singing, it went black. That's what's been going on with my phone lately. So if it messes up, I'm sorry. There's times that I have to even restart my phone lately. It's been doing it ever since I dropped it on 5th Ave and broke the screen. No, it hasn't done this lately until yesterday. I don't have the money right now to fix it. Yeah. So it looks like I might not even be able to do it because I'm not even able to go to the home screen or nothing.
Give it a try.
Yep. If I get it fixed by the end of the week, maybe it will work. But right now, I don't know. I actually didn't get this from the AT&T store. I got this right down here at Family Dollar. So that's probably part of the reason too.
I've been told.
I tried though. I would.
All right, guys. So he was having some issues getting his phone going. The screen was black.
We're guessing it's in C minor.
It looks like he had it. a good screen to begin with, and then maybe it turned black. I don't know, because it looks not like it appears to me if I'm looking at his phone, you can see it is lighting up. Devlin was last seen at the grocery store at Carl's supermarket. And, at first I wasn't so sure, Sammy, about that because I was hearing mixed reviews, right? I was hearing no, well, because for one, no, none of us have ever seen, nor have they released the footage from Carl's supermarket, right? So of course, with all of us being the true crime, brained people that we are, we tend to want to see receipts and we tend to want to see the proof of it before we believe anything. And I think that's the best practice, really. Look at the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case, guys. I know I keep going back to that case, but it just blows my mind. They had the entire world thinking that Gypsy Rose was this poor, innocent, abused young lady, and she wasn't, and myself included, right? I was saying she doesn't need to go to jail. She needs to go get some counseling, get some help. That poor girl, da 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 da. No. Now that we see the proof, we realize that she's ultra manipulative and also quite evil, in my opinion, orchestrating that entire thing and taking the life of her mother. We were spoon fed a false narrative by the media, and that is the public mainstream media. I think there's a lot to be said about that. I think that people need to really look at something like that and realize that that's not an isolated incident, that it happens every single day, that we are spoon fed a false narrative. And hey, if you guys are okay with that, that's okay. We all live our lives the way we want to, but I'm not okay with that. Especially when innocent people or people who shouldn't be out of prison are, right? When an innocent person goes to prison, that's terrible. But when a person gets out of prison and they should still be in there, I mean, that's a public safety issue, in my opinion. So it's really opened my eyes to always asking questions, always wanting the receipts. If something doesn't make sense, ask. Find out more information. Don't just take everything for face value. And even when somebody shows you a receipt, make sure that you're examining it as well. Just to make sure, just to double check. But going back to your question, Sammy, so yes, it does appear, even though I've never seen the footage, that but I do know someone who has. um 8:21 a.m. Carl's supermarket, Devlin used his bridge card, which is his food stamp card, in order to purchase something to eat and something to drink. And then he basically vanishes without a trace, right? But the last person that spoke to him was Matt. So Matt is saying, and a lot of what Matt has said has actually turned out to be true. Some of it I haven't had time to fact check every detail. Um, but he says that Devlin called Sandra. He answered the phone. Sandra was in the bathroom. Devlin never spoke to Sandra. He was supposed to call her back. And Matt said that their phone call lasted for 30 minutes. So after 9:30, we're not really sure what happened to Devlin until about 3 o'clock, 3:45. There is a sighting of Devlin that seems to have been corroborated by two people. And so we're really looking at about 3 to 4 o'clock. After that, there was no trace of Devlin, or no one had saw him. After that person saw Devlin, he was at the trailer park and heading back towards his home. The last ping at the trailer park was about 11:30 p.m. So it's very hazy as to what happened to Devlin, but at least we can somewhat narrow it down because there was a lot of sightings that were unverified, and then there was sightings that we could verify, right? Or there's a digital footprint like the phone ping. I do not believe that there was a Life 360 ping, and the only reason I don't believe that is because I haven't saw the receipt on that too. So we're still dealing with a very hazy timeline, but it does appear that Devlin used his bridge card that morning at the store to purchase something to eat and drink. Um, no, and I mean, if he would have went to jail, they would have had him. But even I mean, I don't know. He was due in court the next day, and then he had another court date that he missed. No, he did not go to jail. No, but he was looking at serving jail time for violating probation. He still owed quite a bit of restitution. So it's not knowing. Yeah, I think all of us really care more about where he is than the people who are supposed to be in yeah, to be his family. Yeah, I mean, and I think that it's just really tough, Scranton, because of his age. I think that's the hardest part is because of his age. So people are like, because some people legitimately think that Devlin's somewhere out there hiding, which he could be. I can't put it past him. He was really smart. He's very good with directions. There's a lot of things, and he's very capable of doing something like that. I just don't know how long he would have stayed gone. I think he would have came back by now, called somebody, and then especially if he found out that people were looking for him. Um, but then again, he might be afraid because he doesn't want to go to jail. So that's what's tough. What if Devlin went home, he was locked out, and then went to the parapros and then turned the phone off, went back to Lori's and snuck in, and then Lori came home and boom, boom, I don't know, speculation. Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering, it seemed to me that Lori said, this is something that I found to not, okay, well, I'll just say this. Lori said that she was going to give Devlin a job and that she told him on Easter Sunday when she saw him at Bob's that she was going to give him a job and pay him, like I think it was 15 or $16 an hour to kind of help out, around for her. But I just don't know how true that is because it almost seems like it's kind of after the fact, because she wasn't letting him stay with her. She wasn't letting him stay in the barn. The day that she found out he was staying in the barn, I think would have probably been a better day to offer him a job. And so I think she may be feeling bad or guilty, or maybe she's embarrassed and she doesn't want to say. And maybe that was kind of an embellishment on her part. That's the way that I'm perceiving it. Although there may be some witnesses at Bob's that heard her offering him a job. I don't know. But it just kind of seemed a little too late for me. Um, is that Lori the mom, and who is the other doofus looking woman on the screen? Okay, so no, Lori is actually a neighbor, Babs, of Devlin's, who would find him sleeping in her barn. So she said that last year, in October, excuse me, haha, we just switched over years. Hello. Um, in October of 2024, Lori recounts Devlin coming over to her to apologize for the loss of her husband. Her husband passed away in October of 2024, and Devlin came over to offer condolences, but then he also asked her if he could stay with her or start living with her. And she told him Devlin, I'm not ready for that. That was kind of odd in my opinion. I don't know what was insinuated or what the exact conversation was, but that was just what Lori had said. Um, and then she said that she had noticed that he had been sleeping in her barn, like she caught him sleeping in her barn. She also would get text messages from other neighbors like, "Oh, I saw Devlin outside pacing on the road," stuff like that, right? But we also have to remember that Devlin's mom, Jessica, lives in Arizona, and she reunited with him when Devlin turned 18. He went missing just shy of his 19th birthday, a month prior to. And he wasn't allowed to talk to Jessica at certain points when he was in the house. He had to leave the house to talk to her. So there may have been times where he was pacing the road because he was talking to her, in my opinion, right? I don't know if there was times where maybe he went out into the backyard. They live right off of Tupper Lake. I don't know if there were times where he'd go sit down by the lake or what. I don't know. Um, but I do know that that was part of the reason why he might have left the house. Hey, Shadow. Who is the lady standing next to him? Okay, so we got my big head in the way. So that's Sandra. That is Tamara's mom, who is in the striped shirt, and then Sabrina is her daughter. So Sandra in the green shirt that Devlin's hugging, that is his adoptive mother, Sandra. So yeah, yeah, but she's old enough to be his grandma. Yeah. Yeah, because really Jessica was married to Tim, who is Tamara's son. And this is kind of a makeshift family tree, although I do not believe that Adam is Devlin's biological father. And I have some research to prove that. I just, again, haven't gotten a chance to get it up. And I also have a guest that wants to come up and speak their piece on the subject. So we're kind of working on that too. Um, I'm surprised they didn't, Chuchi. I'm surprised they didn't all chip in and buy him a phone. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't. So, and maybe it was because that lady Lori did offer him a job. That could very well be. I'm just saying it just almost seemed like she was feeling guilty and didn't want any backlash, which I can't blame her. She may have gotten backlash, already for it. Yeah, no, he did serve some jail time. Devlin did, Sammy. Mhm. Great point. Sasha, that was an odd part of the interview as well. uh, Sasha says that I noticed she really wanted the coffee cup taken and tested because it would prove Devlin didn't enter the home, but the cops ignored it. She seemed bothered by that, my opinion. Yeah, she did seem bothered by that, didn't she? Yeah, so she said basically that one day she was notified that someone was outside of her house. And when she came home, there was a coffee cup out on the porch, I believe. Um, and she had called the fire department guys over and said, "Hey, I think Devlin might have been chilling on my front porch drinking some coffee. There's this coffee mug." And they never did take the coffee mug, according to Lori. Now, what's very interesting, in my opinion, is that some of the locals are not happy with the Ionia County Sheriff's Office, the parapro being one of them, who said that they were basically incompetent, in my opinion, from everything that I gathered from what she said, and that they didn't do they did a poor job, you know? I know, Shadow, isn't he so cute? Like, he just has the cute little mannerisms about himself. He really does. Devlin's a cutie, and guys, he was quite the ladies' man. Um, I hate to say it because, of course, if he's out there listening, I don't want to embarrass him at all when I say that. So I hope that's not taken out of context. But I mean, as you're doing research, you kind of figure these things out, and he was very much involved with the ladies of the town. Um, but and I know I kind of say that, lightly, but then in the same way, we saw text messages about Devlin being accosted by a woman in town, and we still don't know who that woman was. And she was threatening him, and she made him do things that he did not want to do with her. And that's difficult. Lori, Gail, I am the worst with guesstimating ages, and I don't think that either one of them said how old they are, but the parapro is retired. And then Lori looks like, oh God, I don't want to speculate, but it's not like, okay, so I'm just going to say I'm 43 years old. You guys have seen me. Last time I put you guys actually saw me was on Christmas. Um, I'm guessing she's 50 or 55. Oh gosh. And again, this is just speculation. I don't want to try to, if I get it wrong, please don't be mad if I guess too high or low. Um, for some reason, Lori really is concerned that cup of coffee that's outside of a porch is proven to be Devlin's. She has never came in. It's avoidance of the fact he was in the home. I mean, I'm just so surprised that they didn't. I mean, I heard that the parapro wouldn't allow for them to come in her home and search. That is something that's been said. And sometimes you can go back on some of the Facebook posts and look through them too, and that's true. Just because someone has autism, it doesn't mean they're introverted and nonverbal. That's right. Yeah, Devlin was very well versed, and even the way that he was handling himself in conversation, um, don't order me around type of a thing when he was going back at Tamra. He wasn't, you know, yes, he was saying things behind her back, but he wasn't disrespecting her to her face, kind of a thing. So I have to consider that and, take that for how, well he was able to handle himself and just say, hey, ask me nicely, please don't order me around type of a thing. And Babs, this video is from Bob's Barn Jams. It's a local place in town where Devlin would hang out, and all of these guys hang there, right? And they have people who come up and sing and things like that. Yeah, Babs, he's almost 6 foot. Oh, you want to hear him sing, Kelly? Yeah, yeah. Hold on a second. Sorry, I stopped it right there because I just wanted to get what he was saying, so you guys can kind of see him, talk. Hold on one second.
Still there's a gold dirt road to a whole lot of nothing, the deed to the land, but it ain't my gun, this is God's country. Drain the rain and think it's when it's falling, 'cause it brings the grain and a whole lot of money, put it back in the plate, 'cause that's why I call it God's country. Saw the light in a sunrise, sitting back on the 40 on a muddy riverside, and baptized in holy water and shine with the dogs running. If by the sound of a band found, Dixie whistled in the wind that will get you heaven bound. The devil went down to Georgia, but he didn't stick around. This is God's country. And work until the week's done.
Okay, so he would kind of like just put his headphones on and sing along with it on his phone. So, and then sometimes they would try to play along with them if they knew, the song and stuff like that. Yeah, he's super smart, super smart. And I'm worried about it Funtuski, especially with the videos that came out about what they would do to their daughter and how they would keep their families nastiness to themselves and never let anybody find out. I mean, so disgusting. It's you guys are going to be mind blown when we start going over the Gypsy Rose stuff. It's wild. We're going to kind of incorporate that as we go, just for a little bit of a change of pace. But um, I know he's so cute, isn't he, Holly? He's just so sweet. Yeah, and he has a YouTube page. He also liked to sing on his TikTok as well. Um, so hey, Little Frog Energy. So are you talking about the facts of Devlin's case? Devlin Tate went missing on April 21st, 2025. He was just shy of his 19th birthday. He left his home in Lake Odessa, Michigan. Hey, IML. And he headed over to Carl's Supermarket. Whoops, my bad. This is Carl's Supermarket here, uh, right behind me. Um, and the actual Carl's Supermarket, right? And he used his bridge card, which is his food stamp card, in order to make a purchase of something to drink and something to eat. He headed over to Lake Odessa Laundry so he could charge his cell phone, and he called his adoptive mother Sandra's house. His adopted brother Matt Tate answered the phone instead of Sandra, and they spoke for 30 minutes. His mother Jessica got a phone call at 7:30 p.m. Michigan time. She lives in Arizona and was notified that they hadn't heard from Devlin all day. Sabrina, who is in the Star Wars t-shirt, was the one who alerted everyone at about 6:30 p.m. So she started, alerting people saying that she hadn't heard from Devlin. One thing I do want to say is that Sabrina was blocked from Devlin's phone. They were having some issues, and she had been blocked off of his phone. So she was trying to call him from Facebook Messenger and her boyfriend Will's phone as well. He was reported missing at 10:30 p.m. Last cell phone ping was at Lakewood Estates Trailer Park at 11:30 p.m. And that's all Eastern time. So, we just don't know what could have happened to Devlin in that time period, right? Um, it's a small area, Lake Odessa, Michigan is. Let me get it pulled up for you guys. I'll show you. Oh, I don't want that. I don't want that either. Okay, sorry. All right. Just bear with me here. I think I might have too many tabs open. There we go. Okay. Give me one second. It's just taking a minute to load. And I'll share it with you guys. Alrighty. Oh, Oh, I guess it's not. It's taking a minute to load. Sorry, guys. It's a small area, and what I was trying to get at is that, if Sabrina was looking around for Devlin, it would be, she could go to the places that he was that he would frequent, and it wouldn't take her long, right? So, for instance, Devlin lives. Oh, wow, I didn't even do that. Okay, it's still loading. Let's give it a chance to catch up. Um, but as you can see, it's kind of a smaller little area. Here. And here's some pictures. Right? It's just like, there's little houses around the lake. It's a cute little town. Looks like somebody got some good drone stuff. This is where Lako Laundry is, over by these little silo things. I always remember that. There's another view. They also have Jordan Lake, which I believe that's what this is. Jordan Lake is the bigger lake. Right? And then here's another view. That's kind of in town once you get in town. And that's where Devlin would really kind of hang out, is in town. They also have creeks. This is Tupper Creek. And I'm sorry, please feel free, locals, if I get it wrong, let me know. This is the bigger lake, so, or maybe it's just the angle. That could have been Tupper too. Let's see. Right there, he used to like to hang out at Buddy's on the beach. And he also would like to hang out over at Swifty's Park. Let's see. He also liked to go over and hit the buffet because they would give him free pizza after the buffet at lunch over at the pizzeria. Oh, I don't know what that is. Sorry. There's another good view. But yeah, so that's kind of the general pictures of the area. Again, I don't know what this is. That's from 2019. Kind of looks a little weird, but all right. So Devlin started out. Oh, see, here's Bob's. So on Easter Sunday, Devlin walked from here right to over here. Oops, over here. This is where his house is. Right. So he would kind of take this back way. Sometimes he would cut through over here. And then there was other times when he would go and cut off a Bonanza. Right. And cut around. Just depending on where he was going. He also was said to have been sleeping over at the fairgrounds from time to time when he would get kicked out. And that's all alleged. Lako Laundry and Carl's. So there we go. So here he was here, used his bridge card, right? And then he would have, either came out this way, however he came, or however he came to come to the laundromat. And that's where he talked to Matt for 30 minutes, his brother, for 30 minutes. Why hasn't Cold Case Foundation been asked to come in, or Kelly Seigler from the Cold Justice, if you know? That's a good question, Funtuski. Originally I was trying to work with getting Jessica, his mother in Arizona, some resources, because I did feel like, she could have used a hand, but it just didn't work out well, and she wasn't motivated to really do the things that was necessary. And the problem is we do have to have the family reach out. I don't know if Tamara has reached out to the Cold Case Foundation, but I will email her. I will email her that and see if maybe another thing that's very difficult and now whoopsie, that's me grabbing my paper. Um let me see, cold case foundation, and then also it is the Kelly Ziegler. Thank you. And yeah, I'll try to look up contact info and get that over to Tamara because she has been um reaching out. So thank you too for that, Funchuski. Um, the problem is with him being 19 and the police might be thinking he's a runaway. And I have to say that I can't, say that that's wrong, right? And I have to believe that they have more information, of course, than I do. Um, Now, I don't know how many of you guys are aware of this, but Devlin's Facebook posts were deleted recently. Um, and of course, I'm not waiting for an update on law enforcement. They're going to do with what they need to with that information. But I did get it over to them as soon as I could. I just know I'm not going to get an update. And the thing that I was really praying for was that Devlin was the one that did that and that they could track his little butt down. No offense, Devlin, if you're listening, and find him and let his family know he's okay. Right. Because he is of age. And the judge did give him that, um, you know, power over himself and so to speak, but he also has court that he needs to show for. So I would imagine they would want to get him in there, get that taken care of. um but again, if Devlin's out there listening, I hope that he would know that it's better to come back and just face everything. And, he's going to have a lot more support now than he did before. I do believe, I think that the community was really rocked by this, by Devlin's disappearance. And it's just really mind blowing, especially with this area being, as small as it is, it's a close knit community. Um, it really is. And get out of here. I don't care about the hardware store. Um, but and this is one of the places. Oh, I lost it because I zoomed out. One of the places that he would hang out at was over here down Buddies at the beach. You know, so he kind of did his own little thing. There's also the park is down over here as well. Swifty's Park. I don't know if we zoom. Yeah, here's Buddies, and Swifty's is right near there. I don't know if it'll actually bring it up. Um, but yeah, it's just kind of a small little lake community. And so I'm surprised they just didn't have more. Oh, and guys, I forgot to say because it was kind of unconfirmed, but they did confirm that McDonald's employee that saw Devlin over um, by the Family Dollar over here in the parking lot. So, and that was before he made his way over to Carl's, which is here, and then oopsie daisy, and then over to Lake Laundry, which is here. So it's just, I just don't know how. Oh, here it is. It's over by Marco's. Sorry, here we go. Now I see it. So I'm assuming that McDonald's employee came in this way to work or something, or maybe they took this route, because it all kind of connects in, over here. So to Jordan Lake Street. And then again, like I said, he would like to go hang out at Bob's sometimes. And this is where his phone last ping was, at this trailer park. So, somebody said that they had saw him, that he pet their dog, and then he ended up going in this direction or in the direction back home. Because, like I said, he used to cut through over here in these woods. Sometimes he would, head back over up Bonanza, and where Bonanza and Topper Creek meet, that's where there was a scent when they were doing a search on Monday or Tuesday. So, oh, I wonder, it's because of the Google Maps. It's because of the Google Maps. If I start clicking through it, it gets staticky. Thanks, Babs, for letting me know. Yeah, yeah. Would he have walked by the post office, because they always have cameras. I know, and the thing is, Gail, is like you would think that there would be cameras like all throughout, but there's really, some of the places don't have them. I know for sure, and then some of them do. This is another place, Viking Car Wash. It seems like people would see Devlin. There's also a Sunoco that's up this road over here. That people were saying that he was spotted by, but there was no camera footage, and there's cameras all over that Sunoco. You know. Aw, well, I'm glad, Sasha. Sasha says, I'm very familiar with this area. They're very good people. I've met a lot of really good people in this case, Sasha. I really have. And it's very beautiful, and a lot of snow. That's been our biggest problem, right? Because I put out, a flyer asking for, boats with sonar to kind of cover these areas, because they're so, there's so much water, there's so many waterways. So I was looking for people who could help out. And as soon as we got, people that were willing to do it, the weather was just not permitting. And so it's something that it's going to have to wait till at least the weather gets nicer, a little bit, maybe February, end of February, March. I just don't know what the weather is going to hold. Yeah. Yeah, they were. That was initially, they just didn't know. And I probably missed Cece's comment. Sorry, Cece. Yeah, like that's the thing about it, is they were searching, but people were getting um what's the word, impatient. And so there was a lot of people that were saying no, there nobody's searching for Devlin, but they really were. There's an active search group that's been involved since the very beginning, thank God. you know um I just looked at TikTok. Why were people looking for him in December? It's all snowed and iced over. I could hear how cold these people were walking on the bridge, were freezing. Yes, I pray it's warm. Yeah, I think that's the one with Piper, right? Is that the one you watched? Scranton, her husband, and I think it was like three others, if I'm not mistaken, maybe two others, went out and braved the cold. And then they also did a search for him again. I haven't checked Piper's channel to see if she's been out again, but I know that um, they're definitely doing boots on the ground in order to find Devlin, which is great. Like the more the merrier, as long as they're safe. Bridges and culverts, yeah, gosh, Devlin could be in the water, stuck on a pier, or snags branches, in my opinion. I worry about that too, Funtuski. That's why I was like, we really should get you know get into the water, figure that out. And some people are like, he's not in the water because he would have been, he would have came up by now. But I think some of that is a big one. One thing I was theorizing with Tina about, and Tina's come up on the channel before, and that's Adam Nolan's mom. um she really built a quick and special bond really with Devlin. She's very kind and sweet, and just cares about him a lot. And she's been looking into water and thinking, the underwater shelves and things that could have happened. And so we've been kind of working on those things, are together, just kind of speculating. So um Oh gosh, I was hoping for that, Sasha. And the cool thing is that that was such a group effort with Piper, because I just so happened to be watching hers. And when she said they're gone, the one post that they were referring to, she's like, "Oh my God, it's gone!" And I go over there, and they're both gone. Like, there's more that I noticed because like I was screenshotting his accounts, just to kind of get a good idea of the timeline and things that he was posting and when. And oh my goodness, oh my goodness, there was more than just the one post. So I confirmed it with her that it was there when she saw it, so we could narrow a timeline down. And I mean, gosh, thank God for Piper and her group, really. Um, because we were able to kind of get that narrowed down where they had taken that screenshot, a couple of days before that, if not a day before, a day, 2 days. I can't remember off the top of my head which one it was, um, but nevertheless, they had recently screenshotted that post and it was missing. So whoever did that in mid-December. Yeah, exactly, Funchusky. We found several people who were red rummed under structures along with evidence. Yes, absolutely. And the thing is another thing to mention too. I know it's wild to me that there's no cameras that caught him, Sasha. Um, so Laco Laundry was doing an update that the day that he went missing. They were doing an update on their cameras. And I mean, I know we always say there's no coincidences in true crime, but like, what are the odds that they were doing an update that day? Really, that day? Um, so yeah, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild that he wasn't caught on camera and that they were doing an update at the place that he was at and where he frequents. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. And as things unfold, we're going to learn more. And like I said, if there was somebody that, I mean, again, we always look at why would somebody delete those posts? Right? Because I was thinking, hey, maybe Devlin was deleting the post so, people wouldn't fault his family because he's out there somewhere and he knows he's safe and he doesn't want to be found. Right? So I was really hoping it was that. But we haven't heard anything, and I think we would have heard something right away, you know? Paige Bigelow's wallet, phones, and items here in Colorado. Oh, wow. Wow, Funtuski, that's crazy. Wow. I'm glad you guys were able to find that, and that's what's so important. We were talking about that in Sebastian Rogers' case last night. We were talking about how it's important to know what he was wearing. Um, when he went missing. So that way if anybody's out looking, they can see or excuse me, and they see, excuse me, if they're out there looking and they see the same, descriptive clothing, that could be a good indication that they're on the right track to finding Sebastian, right? Or something like that. Um, but unfortunately, that's just that's not what has happened, so but I don't know. I wanted to show you guys this too because I just kind of wanted to switch gears over to Sebastian so we can talk about him for a little while. Um, let's see. Oh, here it is. We talked a little bit about this last night, which I thought this was interesting. But again, this was a description, black sweatshirt, black sweatpants, and black square framed glasses that Sebastian was said to have been wearing last. Um, this picture was taken on his birthday. So I think these were the square framed glasses that he was wearing. They seem to be the ones, and you can also see them here closer up. Then again, those ones look a little bit different now that I'm looking closely than these ones. Yeah, those are different. See how the frames are skinnier in this one than in this one? And this one was Sebastian at the Boot Barn. And those glasses look to be the same exact glasses in these two pictures here, but not so much in this one. They're thinner framed. So, and we know that those glasses were found and they never checked the prescription according to many sources. But it looks like he was wearing the thicker framed ones here as well. This is the last picture of Sebastian at the Texas Roadhouse. This one is a little bit bigger. You could probably see. Although I don't know. Those ones kind of look a little thinner. I think this one's a little bit of an older picture. But those ones look a little bit more round to me. And this picture here is the one that Sebastian was wearing the breastplate, by the way, that he was, supposed to be wearing, or that they gave. Well, I think Seth said that they gave him an option if he wanted to. I mean, he very well could have been. And, Sasha getting paid under the table, we wouldn't know. I mean, he really could. There's a lot of areas where he could be working for people and, nobody would be the wiser. So when was his phone broke? Could someone else have just picked up his phone and accessed his Facebook, or would he have needed a new one? I mean, it appears that it was working sometimes and then wouldn't work other times, Sammy. That's a good question. I think that, with it being not Devlin, and I'm just saying, I think that they would have tracked him by now. And I could be very wrong about that, but, I think that maybe somebody had access because maybe he logged in on their phone or a computer or something to that effect, because his phone has not been turned on to the best of my knowledge. Now, maybe the police are trying to track that down because maybe somebody did use his phone to log in. Maybe somebody did turn his phone on and go into his Facebook and delete it because they had access to his phone. That's a good point. I mean, we really could, Sasha. We could send flyers to them. That was another really cool thing that Piper did, was she went and checked the Greenville lead and she brought them a flyer, and the lady at the front desk remembered me calling. So I thought that was pretty cool. There should be an age progression pic of Sebastian after 2 years. That's what we were saying last night, Babs. Yeah. Yeah, they should be putting one out, I would think. It just depends on the water temperature, but usually yes. Um, yeah, sometimes people will find people, yeah. He could have been saying that, Sasha, that's what I was thinking at first too, and I was thinking maybe he just didn't want anybody to get any flack, for him being missing, and so he just deleted a couple of posts. So, thank you, Chuchi. There was the one post that was deleted was talking about um him not being able to deal with Tamra. Well, they were within a couple of days of each other. I'll say the one on March 30th, he dedicated a song to Jessica and tagged her in it, and that was deleted. And then 2 days later, on April 1st, he posted, I love you guys. I'm sorry, but I can't take my sister Tammy anymore. And that one, and he posted a song with that one too as well. And then that one was deleted. Um, and I've also heard it been alleged that there was more posts deleted off of some other accounts of his. So, you know, again, if the police aren't going to get on it, I hope they are. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, they should be. Yeah, he'd have yeah, I believe that too, Babs. If Sebastian is alive in in a school or institution or being hidden, he'd most likely have different glasses by now. I mean, he took his glasses with him, so you know, whoever um has him would have a prescription for him until the prescription expired, I suppose. You know, but you could go into Zenny Optical and put the prescription in, and they don't. It's like they're none the wiser. I think it's been a while since I ordered glasses from there. I need to order. I need to get to the eye doctor probably. So MST, I do not know if they're moving to Arizona or not. I heard that too. But I mean, you know, I mean that's like we talked about it a little bit last night. In my opinion, it's recycled rumors, you know, until we see some proof. And I don't know where somebody would have got Arizona from because as far as I know, the research that Hindsight and Coop did brought in addresses in California, Maryland, Kansas, and wasn't there a fourth one, guys? But either way, nothing to do with Arizona. I don't know. I think people are kind of just competing to see who can put out, you know, the most shocking info. No receipts. You know, I just don't do that. If I have something shocking and you know, big for you guys are gonna see it. You know, I'm not gonna leave you with the cliffhanger. I was hoping too for the Dairy Queen. Yeah, I was hoping that maybe like, you know, he was staying at that hotel. Maybe he was working over at Dairy Queen. Yeah, Brenda, I know that was a bummer, you know? So, was Sebastian told he was running late to hurry to school and take the shortcut? Maybe my opinion, speculation. You know, I don't know. I mean, again, we have no footage. Yeah, I would like them to do that too. At the least they could do, Sasha, is check the freaking prescription. I can't believe they didn't. Because Sebastian had a couple of pairs of glasses, and I know Seth said that he accidentally broke some in like gym class as well. Oh, thank you, Heather Marie. Thank you, darling. Thanks for being here. She says, love and light to all from Southern Indiana. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you. Those underground schools, institutions have their own docs, dentists, eye doctors, etc. Yeah, Babs, those places are so creepy. I mean, we definitely looked into that over here, you know, and I cannot say that it's not still on the table for me, you know, because they are so secretive and because if he was in like a medical facility, he wouldn't even need to like leave the he wouldn't even have to leave the facility, you know, for any type of care he would need. So to me that doesn't it just doesn't seem like it work. I don't know, it just doesn't work. But then again, um I don't know. Has Sebastian's case gotten enough attention? I mean, we think it has because we're here in the vacuum of YouTube, but like, are we really doing the best that we can um, in order to? Um, oh, thank you, Chuchi. Like in order to spread awareness to everyone, you know. And I know that Sebastian was on America's Most Wanted, but they did not tell the truth on there. In my opinion, they showed half of. Well, it is not even my opinion. Look, they showed half of the lights video. They showed us one part of it. Oh gosh, I've done that, Scranton, with my contacts. I feel you, girl. Yeah, once again, Family Dollar, burner phones and prescription glasses, cheaper yet a prescription. Well, and I do not think that Devlin even oh, I see what you're talking about. Sorry. I When you said Family Dollar, I started thinking about Devlin again. Sorry. That was a good trigger moment. Oh, over to the other case, but okay, so yeah. Hey, Devlin could have pulled it off. I think he could have pulled it off and just been, you know what I'm saying? Like he could be hiding somewhere and just like hoping nobody recognizes him. I just think it would be so hard for him to stay in the house and not call and not reach out to anybody. Like, Sandra, Jessica, Tamara, is even if they weren't getting along at that time, unless something really, really bad happened, there was a last straw moment. I don't know. That's why I keep trying to put myself in Devlin's shoes, which is not easy being a 43-year-old woman putting myself in a 19-year-old boy's shoes, you know? But I'm trying to because I'm thinking, okay, well, what would he do? Like, what was he feeling? What was he thinking? That's why I thought the autistic, um, even though it's not always, even the experts get stuff wrong, guys, and everybody's an individual. It's a spectrum disorder, but I do think that it was valuable to kind of listen in and maybe key into some things that could transfer over. So Sebastian's case will never get enough attention until a full investigation is given to the TBI and FBI. I agree, Babs. I agree. I think that's a good answer to that. I just don't know that enough people would know if he was at one of those schools, right? Because there's like a lot of those down in like the Utah area. I say down, but like I'm in Florida. I just say that because I'm used to being up. Um, yeah, they're just so secretive and they're so really corrupt in their own right. Like who would take a child in and like some of the ideology and some of the techniques that are used at these behavioral centers or schools are, questionable. A lot of times there's abuse because there's so much control that when the children write home it's kind of like jail. They look over the letters and if there's anything said in there they won't get sent out, things like that, and that can really cause a lot of issues. And I mean, if somebody's getting paid to keep Sebastian and they're just not aware, that's still a possibility, you know. Oh wow, witchy. When I wear my Sebastian shirt, there's people who don't know, and I wore it all over San Diego while I was caring for my aunt. Oh, witchy, that's so awesome. Yeah, I'm surprised when people don't, you know, yeah, I'm surprised myself. I really am. Um, yeah, I think that too, Sasha. When I put myself in a Devlin situation, yeah, I think that too. I think that he was kind of feeling really alone. I think that he didn't necessarily feel like he could rely on anyone. I'm sure there were people that he felt a little more comfortable with than others. I know that he had, a really, really good friend, who I just, said that I wouldn't mention any names. So I do know that that person was there. Oh gosh, it's just too bad. Because his immediate family, there was a lot of issues. There was just a lot of issues, and I don't think they've denied that um at all. I just think that they kind of point the finger at each other, instead of just saying, "Hey, we could have all done better. Let's figure this out." Yeah, that's true. That's true, Brenda. It's hard to get America fired up to look for Sebastian when the network's candy coat and flat out lie for the foots, in my opinion. I know, Brenda. It's like they'll do anything to get an interview, but why would you sell your soul like that? In my opinion, that's all you're doing because you just made all of America believe that Sebastian walked out with the flashlight and he met someone in the common area because that's what it looks like. When you watch the end of that video, you see someone go back with a flashlight to the house. They didn't show that part. And it still is something that I find to be so unbelievable. But then again, when I look at Gypsy Rose Blanchard's case, it's exactly what we were talking about earlier. Spoon fed a narrative, only shown what they want us to see. So that way we can't make up our own minds. And that is scary. And thank God for places like YouTube and TikTok, even if there's crazy theories on here, and even sometimes it drives us bonkers, you know, at least there's people that are willing to get up on their platform and not sugarcoat it, not lie. They expose the truth. And thank God for those people, right? Because at first, you know, I started hearing, even again as an example with Gypsy Rose's case, but I would listen to these creators and I realized that when I was watching the YouTube version of stuff, it was completely different than what the media was saying. And again, I lived in that area for a very long time. And so I was like, wow, oh, this makes a lot of sense. And then Becca Scoops is the one that gave me the aha moment when she started showing her receipts and with her credentials, with her husband's credentials, I was like, okay, these are credible sources. And then from that point on, I started thinking about how corrupt that area is and how they do things the way that they want to do it. They don't mind lying. They don't care if innocent people are in trouble. They just want to paint their own picture of their Bible Belt community. And it's anything but that. It's anything but that. And hopefully, I gave Becca a little nugget because I think she'd be able to research it better than I would, and I hope that she does, because I think there's a lot to it, and I think that the hospitals were involved in the corruption, right? They were getting money because Gypsy was the poster child. We always got to think about what the motivation is. Hey, Justice for New, good to see you. Oh, that America's Most Wanted was horrible, wasn't it? I mean, just absolutely wretched. Which really it sucks because I mean, I always used to like to um watch that show. Oh, there's another teenager that's missing that disappeared during the night. Yeah, MST, thank you. Yeah, Jonathan Hong. I want to do a live on him as well. Yeah, and you know what? I was going to, and then I ended up taking Devlin's case, actually, is what happened there. So yeah, that's something to really look into though. Um, Not at 6 a.m., at 3 a.m. She may have sent him into a trap, my speculation. Interesting, Sasha. Nothing. Nothing, Justice. I mean, I couldn't believe it. When I went over to um Chris's mother's page, I couldn't believe there was nothing of Sebastian on there. I was actually like, maybe she deleted some of it, but then I started looking and there was a bunch of people who were like, no, she doesn't have anything of Sebastian, like, at all with the rest of the grandkids. Like, I was like, "Oh gosh, that's so messed up." And then if you go and look in the pictures, there's no pictures of him at Disney. Sasha says, "I watched The Autistic Doctor, and he said that perception is hard, and it would be hard to realize it was a different time if they were both dark at 3 a.m. and 6 a.m., both dark still, so Sebastian being autistic with his phone being on the dining room table, he may have easily believed it was 6. Oh, I got you now, Sasha. Okay, now I get what you're saying. Okay, I got you. Okay, so when it was really 3 a.m., his autistic or his excuse me, his autism could aid this assumption, my opinion. Interesting. Hmm. His script could have been ordered online with a prepaid card. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Bab says no. Bab says no, Sasha. I just think that Sebastian was a little bit more on top of his game than that, but then again, I don't know. Oh, gosh. Hey, Karen. Karen says, it's why everyone calls them fake news, in my opinion. Right, right. But it's weird because we always look at like the news as being a reliable source. And, they're always telling us like, get it here first. You're going to get a fair, accurate representation only here and all this stuff. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's so weird, and they can't possibly believe what they're putting out there because don't tell me that you only saw half of that video. It's just crazy. And it's sad, in my opinion, because that's what most of America sees or most of the world sees is the mainstream media, you know. Um, so, well, guys, I'm gonna hop off of here and try to get to bed early again tonight so we can try to do 2 shows tomorrow because I know a lot of people were wanting to do um or wanting me to do day shows and stuff like that too. So let's plan for that. Again, I know I keep trying to do that and it's kind of not worked out. Um but I want to kind of get into the groove of doing 2 shows at least until I get to Tennessee. And we'll go back into, more deep dive in the cases. Like I said, I want to get that interview out of Sabrina, so that's what I'm going to try to get out, and then hit the bed for a couple of hours and go over that tomorrow during the day. Um, so I love you all so very, very, very much. And I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your evening. And I will see you all very, very soon. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Brenda. Thanks, Bab, Sasha, Chuchi. Thank you guys so much. Justice for Noog, Karen. Thank you for stopping in. Um, Also, let's see, I'll just get us MST, CC. So very good to always have you guys witchy. Thank you guys. Thanks, Indigo. Thank you, Scranton and Heather Marie. Thank you guys very, very much. And Funchewski as well, Sammy. You guys all have a great rest of your night.